You know what most people think when they hear someone's driven their car past 500,000 miles? They assume it's some kind of miracle vehicle or that the owner got incredibly lucky. But here's the truth. Getting a car to run that long isn't about luck. It's about following a specific set of habits that most drivers either don't know about or simply ignore. Today, I'm going to share 13 proven habits that can help your car reach 500,000 miles without major repairs. Whether you're driving a Toyota Camry, a Honda Accord, or a Ford F-150, these habits work. Stick around, because some of these might surprise you. Let's start with the most important one. Change your oil religiously, every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. I know you've heard this before, but there's a reason mechanics keep repeating it. Oil is literally the lifeblood of your engine. When you skip oil changes, sludge builds up inside your engine. That sludge blocks passages, reduces lubrication, and causes parts to grind against each other. Eventually, you're looking at thousands of dollars in engine repairs or a complete replacement. Most modern cars using full synthetic oil can go 7,500 miles between changes. But if you're driving an older vehicle or one with high mileage, stick to 5,000 miles. And here's a pro tip. Use high-quality synthetic oil designed for high-mileage engines. Brands like Mobil 1 or Valvoline High Mileage are worth the extra few dollars. They contain additives that condition seals and reduce oil consumption, which becomes more common as engines age. Next up, don't ignore your transmission fluid. Your transmission is one of the most expensive components to replace, often costing between $4,000 and $8,000 depending on your vehicle. Yet, most people completely forget about transmission maintenance until something goes wrong. Here's what you need to know. Change your transmission fluid every 60,000 miles or follow whatever your manufacturer recommends. Some newer cars claim to have lifetime transmission fluid, but mechanics will tell you that's marketing speak. No fluid lasts forever, especially when it's being heated and cooled constantly. When you do change it, make sure you're getting a fluid exchange, not a flush. Flushes can actually dislodge particles that then clog up centralized transmission components. A proper exchange drains the old fluid and replaces it with new fluid gradually, keeping everything clean and protected. Here's one that catches people off guard. Keep your coolant fresh. Most drivers think coolant is just about preventing overheating in summer or freezing in winter. But coolant does something even more important. It prevents corrosion inside your engine and radiator. Over time, coolant breaks down and becomes acidic. That acidic coolant starts eating away at metal components, rubber hoses, and gaskets. Before you know it, you've got leaks everywhere in an overheating engine. Replace your coolant every 50,000 miles or every 5 years, whichever comes first. And when you do, make sure you're using the correct type for your vehicle. Different manufacturers specify different coolant formulations, and mixing types can cause problems. Check your owner's manual or ask your mechanic which coolant your car needs. Now let's talk about something that seems minor but isn't: your air filter. A clean air filter allows your engine to breathe properly. When it gets clogged with dirt and debris, your engine has to work harder to pull in air. That means reduced fuel efficiency, sluggish acceleration, and unnecessary wear on engine components. Most air filters should be replaced every 15,000 to 30,000 miles depending on where you drive. If you live in a dusty area or drive on dirt roads frequently, you'll need to replace it more often. The good news is that air filters are cheap and easy to replace yourself. Pop your hood, find the air filter housing, usually a black plastic box near the engine, open it up, and swap the old filter for a new one. It takes maybe 5 minutes and costs around $20. Here's a habit that directly impacts safety and longevity. Change your brake fluid every 3 to 5 years. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture from the air over time. When water gets into your brake fluid, it lowers the fluid's boiling point. Under hard braking, that water can boil and create air bubbles in your brake lines. Air bubbles compress, unlike brake fluid, which means your brake pedal goes soft and your stopping distance increases dramatically. Plus, moisture in brake fluid causes corrosion in your brake calipers, wheel cylinders, and the master cylinder. Those components aren't cheap to replace. Fresh brake fluid keeps your brakes responsive and prevents thousands of dollars in corrosion damage down the road. Let's move to your tires. Rotate them every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. Different positions on your car wear tires differently. Your front tires typically wear faster because they handle steering, and in front-wheel drive cars, they also handle acceleration. If you never rotate your tires, you'll end up replacing them in pairs instead of all four at once, and you'll go through tires much faster overall. Regular rotation ensures even wear across all four tires, which means they last longer and provide better traction. While you're at it, check your tire pressure monthly. Underinflated tires wear faster, reduce fuel economy, and can overheat and fail. Overinflated tires give you a harsh ride and wear out the center of the tread prematurely. Your vehicle's recommended tire pressure is usually on a sticker inside the driver's door jamb. Keep a tire gauge in your glove box and make it a habit to check before long trips. Here's one that surprises people. Service your differential and transfer case. If you drive a rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or four-wheel drive vehicle, you have a differential. Some AWD and 4WD vehicles also have a transfer case. These components use heavy gear oil that breaks down over time and gets contaminated with metal particles from normal wear. That contaminated oil accelerates wear and can lead to expensive failures. Most manufacturers recommend differential service every 30,000 to 50,000 miles, but check your owner's manual for specifics. This is especially important if you tow trailers, drive in mountains, or regularly drive through deep water. Those conditions are tough on differential and transfer case fluids. Let's talk about spark plugs. Modern spark plugs last much longer than they used to, but they don't last forever. Depending on your vehicle, spark plugs should be replaced somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 miles. Worn spark plugs cause misfires, which lead to rough idling, poor acceleration, and reduced fuel economy. Even worse, misfires can damage your catalytic converter, which costs well over $1,000 to replace. When you do replace spark plugs, use the exact type specified by your manufacturer. Don't cheap out and buy the bargain spark plugs. The few dollars you save aren't worth the performance issues and potential damage they can cause. Now here's a habit that goes beyond just maintenance. Drive gently. The way you drive has a massive impact on how long your car lasts. Jackrabbit starts putting enormous stress on your engine, transmission, and drivetrain. Hard braking wears out brake pads, rotors, and tires faster. Racing up to red lights just to slam on the brakes wastes fuel and wears out components. Instead, accelerate smoothly and gradually. Anticipate stops and coast to a stop when possible. On the highway, use cruise control to maintain steady speeds. These gentle driving habits reduce wear on every moving part in your car. You'll also notice better fuel economy, which saves money every time you fill up. Here's something simple that makes a big difference. Let your car warm up properly. I'm not saying you need to sit in your driveway for 10 minutes every morning, but when you first start your car, especially in cold weather, let it idle for 30 seconds before driving. Then drive gently for the first few minutes until the engine reaches operating temperature. Cold engine oil is thick and doesn't lubricate as well as warm oil. Revving a cold engine or driving aggressively before it warms up causes excessive wear. This is particularly important for turbocharged engines, which generate extreme heat and rely on proper lubrication even more than naturally aspirated engines. Don't skip regular inspections of belts and hoses. Your engine has several rubber belts that drive accessories like the alternator, power steering pump, and air conditioning compressor. Most modern cars use a single serpentine belt. If that belt breaks while you're driving, you lose power steering, your battery stops charging, and your engine can overheat. Rubber degrades over time, developing cracks and losing elasticity. Most serpentine belts should be replaced around 60,000 to 100,000 miles. While you're checking belts, inspect all the rubber hoses in your engine bay. Look for cracks, bulges, or soft spots. A failed coolant hose can leave you stranded and potentially cause engine damage from overheating. Radiator hoses typically last 5 to 10 years, but they're cheap and easy to replace before they fail. Pay attention to your battery and electrical system. Car batteries typically last 3 to 5 years depending on climate and usage. Hot climates are particularly hard on batteries. Before your battery dies and leaves you stranded, test it regularly, especially once it hits the 3-year mark. Most auto parts stores will test your battery for free. They'll also test your alternator and starter. A weak battery makes your alternator work harder, which can shorten its lifespan. A failing alternator won't properly charge your battery. Replacing a battery costs maybe $150. Replacing an alternator costs $400 to $600. Catching problems early saves money and prevents roadside breakdowns. Here's the final habit. and it's about attention to detail. Address small problems immediately. That weird noise when you turn, get it checked out. That small oil spot on your driveway, find out where it's coming from. That check engine light that just came on, get the codes read and figure out what's wrong. Small problems rarely fix themselves. They almost always get bigger and more expensive if you ignore them. A small oil leak can turn into a major leak that damages other components or leaves you stranded. A worn wheel bearing that makes a humming noise can eventually seize and cause you to lose control. A check engine light indicating a faulty oxygen sensor can lead to catalytic converter damage if ignored. The best drivers treat their cars like they're listening. When something sounds different, feels different, or looks different, they investigate right away. Getting your car to 500,000 miles isn't complicated. It doesn't require special mechanical skills or expensive tools. It just requires consistency. Follow your maintenance schedule. Drive with care. Pay attention to what your car is telling you. Most importantly, don't put off maintenance because you're too busy or trying to save money. That deferred maintenance always costs more in the long run. Your car is probably one of your biggest investments. Treat it right, and it'll serve you reliably for decades. Now I want to hear from you. What's the highest mileage you've ever gotten out of a vehicle? What maintenance habits do you swear by? Drop a comment below and let's talk about what works. And if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next video, where we'll cover common mistakes that destroy engines early. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.